excited about who's next. Megan Dowd, and she's talking about how to honor the human behind the business and the humans in the audience alike so we can build more equitable businesses. She's a narrative strategist and creative coach working with feminist small business owners and entrepreneurs to build brand messaging, launch narratives, and offer suites that create real connection with their audience, aka community, aka clients, aka real people with real lives. She's also the founder of Human First, Biz Second, and the original Spicy Soapbox. Super excited to hear about her one sock method that we have coming up that's going to create boundaries and build connections in your business. Up next. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wanted something more? More in business, home life, relationship life? Say word if you agree. Word. In 2019, I created a business for coaches to market in this wacky way, virtual events, all with a 7 to 7 job. I'm a full-time nurse, by the way. And like you, there were just not enough hours in the day. My partner was feeling alone, and generally, this wasn't fun anymore. But then I realized I needed to build myself back up, mind, body, soul, and even my business. So I created a show that does just that, interviewing all types of coaches, life, wellness, fertility, career, financial, wealth, and business. Join me on my journey with some of the best coaches who want to empower other coaches to live their best lives and build businesses that fulfill them. My name is Nicole Beatty, and this is Fempreneur Coach Connection. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I always know what the show is going to be like if everybody's in the green room kind of like dancing a little bit. I saw you dancing, got a little bit of on tape so we could throw it on IG because I knew what kind of show this was going to be. So that's so cool.
I have no chill. The music comes on. I'm like, gotta move, gotta keep it professional. Professional.
Well, are you standing right now during the interview? So obviously we're looking.
I am.
Yeah, so I love it.
When
people are standing, that means they're a wiggly human and they're getting into it. So I saw her dancing, I saw her having fun. She can't keep still. That's fine. That's a fun show. So I'm excited to do this.
I am too. I have no chill. That's a great way to start this. Heads up, I have no chill. I spent years trying to be someone who is like, I wanted to be a cool girl. Yeah. Who among us didn't want to be a cool girl, especially like middle school, high school? Mm-hmm. And I hit like college and post-college, and I was like, it's not going to happen.
It's just like, let me just let it work with me, let it work for me. And, that's awesome. And I'm guessing that's how a lot of your stuff kind of came together, is but you're like, you know what, I'm not going to do it the way everybody else does it, the way they're kind of small-mindedly putting business together. I'm going to really do it a different way.
Yeah, I am a historian and actress by training and degree. And
really? Okay.
Yeah. And I actually spent nearly a decade as a professional actress. So
oh wow.
Almost everything that I do is rooted in like, okay, let's look at the historical. How are things done? Mm-hmm. Let's evaluate the human component. How does this make me feel? How does this work with the way my brain works? What are the systems at play that are either putting me in an advantage or a disadvantage? And then generally me going, well, F that.
That's the end result, saying, no, that's not going to work.
Frequently, yes, because it wasn't built for us.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it.
Yeah.
I identify as neurodivergent. I am neurodivergent. I have chronic pain issues. There are a number of things that make the things that everyone else, that perhaps more typical human experience is like, well, this is easy. And it's like, that is a full day for me.
Yeah.
So if that's a full day, what are the things that I need to adjust to make my existence easier? That got way more existential than I intended it to.
It's okay. That's okay. But so many people are going to hear this and go, that's me. That's me. How is she making it work? How is she, because right now everything is really overwhelming. So how is she making it work? What are things that she's doing in her business, and how is she creating this thing where people and all these, how is she doing that? So I'm excited to kind of go into that today and talk about some things, especially your human first, biz second. That's framework. That's, what are we calling it? Framework? Is it a course? Is
I
it
call
just
it
who you
it's my
are? What is it?
ethos. It is the
Okay.
ethos. It is the lens through which everything I do, every system that I build,
Yeah.
every operation in my business, everything is through, especially marketing, is through the human first, biz second lens. Because if we aren't honoring both the human running the business and the humans on the other side, the humans in our audience,
Yeah.
one, you're missing out on a lot of connection and a lot of great human connection, full stop. But two, your people feel that in their
Yeah.
marketing. And especially since the pandemic has hit, like marketing nerd moment, there are these huge shifts in how folks are using social media, in how
Yes.
folks are digging into brands' missions, environmental impact, equitable
Mm.
structures within the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and all of the nerdy marketing data aside, what we can take as small business owners is like, okay, before we were told like folks want to get to know you, there is no question, we want to know
Yes.
you, we want to know what you stand for, and we want to know how you act on that.
Mm. How does that show up in your business? So, I mean, obviously we semi see it now, but how does that show up for you? Like, how do you have a human yourself first or human first, biz second? How does that show up for you?
uh, for one, it comes, I start with a very, very specific lens view of marketing where I am here to make a connection. I am here to educate. I am here to guide folks. I want everyone who comes into contact with my work to feel that they're getting something from me. I mean, the unofficial way is like I want folks to think, if this is the free stuff, what's it like when I hire her?
Yeah.
Uh, because, and that's not to say that I think it's important that we give away all of the content. I for a couple of years ago developed a quiz that I call the content connection archetype. We all naturally have these ways of connecting with folks and disseminating information around
Mhm.
what we do. And I found that there are 5 archetypes. There are some pretty set ways that are our go-tos that just come naturally to us. And the more, and this is where it's the human first within marketing, the more
Yeah.
you can lean into how you naturally communicate and naturally create content, one, the better your content is. And
Absolutely.
two, the more authentic your marketing feels, which is really what all good. I don't want to say good because it's not like a moral good and bad. It's not a
Right.
binary. It's a spectrum. It's a wheel.
That's very much so.
But the businesses that we feel those deep connections with, that one skincare line, for me, it's Coco Kind. That anytime anyone's like, I need, and I'm like, let me tell you everything about them. Not only how much I love their products, but how much I love their company, how much I love their founder, how they run their social media. It's the whole
Mm.
package.
That's so nice that you can find a company, and that can be difficult to do. But when you find a company, especially in the small business realm, where you not only love, their products, their service, you enjoy the founder, you enjoy, sometimes the people within it may change, but whoever's there, they have those same values and core values of the company. And you can literally say, this is a company. And you're touching on things that we've talked about in this show, self-love, self-care, but also having that the people first mentality,
Mhm.
the relationship building, relationship strategies in order to build relationships, in order to have a business that really fits within you and not be something that's just like away from you and away from your values.
Yes, I love the way that you phrase that, Nicole. A business that fits within you and that you fit within.
Mhm.
Because it is that tension in that relationship at all times. And the more we can intentionally set that approach, the more that we can intentionally build the container in which our business lives and that we then inhabit, the more we can lead from a place of authenticity and the more connection we can create, which is really, I talk about the difference between a fan base and a brand fam. And a
Okay.
fan base is, say, like Coca-Cola. If you like,
Yes.
there's like, you're a Coke person or you're a Pepsi person.
Yep. You know,
But by
hashtag
and
Coke.
large, thank you. Exactly.
Don't at me, people.
Cherry Coke is my go-to like treat.
Yes.
But so
Amazing.
like Coke is the big corporation. We generally we're not investing a lot of time and money and efforts into like who is the head of Coke and what is their company culture like
Yes.
and blah blah blah. It's a fan base.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it. Like that's the extent. A brand fam is, I mean, to use my previous reference of Coco Kind, they've built a brand fam where like we not only love the product, we love everything about them. We are cheering on the founder. We know the founder by name. They
Oh,
respond
wow.
to our DMs immediately and don't try to pretend that like, oh well, it's no, this hi, I'm so and so, I'm the social media manager. Thanks so much for tagging us. It's that
That's pretty cool.
authenticity that drives connection. And for
Can
small
we just,
businesses,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead. No, you go
for,
ahead. Go ahead.
for small businesses, we want we should strive for the brand fam, not the fan base, because by and large, the fan base isn't actually what you're after. And if the fan base is what you're after, you probably have some larger therapy problems that you think are business problems, but aren't actually business problems.
Can I just say, as you're talking, quote this, it's just a thing I say, when I really want to mark something in the script. You said brand fam, is that what you
Mhm.
just called it?
Yep,
Versus fans,
fan
right?
base.
Fan base.
Yeah.
That is a powerful thing because we often use the word fans and audience interchangeably, but I feel like some people may not want to be quote unquote a fan. We want to bring them in closer. Fans are a lot more distance than
Hmm.
family, I'm guessing is what that is short for. So
Yeah.
if we are truly run our business in that humans first, or we're truly running our business in that relationship base and building relationships in order to create your business, then you are looking for that family. You're looking for people to surround, not only buying your products or services, but also to surround you in that goodness and love and saying, let me tell others about you and oh, that's good. I love that, Megan.
It's one of one of my proudest moments when I like differentiated that in a very clear and concise way. As I'm sure you can tell, sometimes I can get a bit loquacious,
It's
but that
okay.
is it's such a way to pinpoint exactly that difference. You got a
Yes.
fan base or a brand fam. For small
Yes.
businesses, the more you can cater, the more you can build that brand fam and keep them in mind because they're the ones who are going to put your name like so and so is looking for this. Oh my gosh, I have the person for you.
Boom, there it is. I
We
love that.
don't do
Let's
that
get
with Coke unless
no,
somebody
no, no,
comes
no,
in
no.
with the Pepsi talk and then it's
But it's one of those, yeah, and then we're like, oh, hashtag. But
Mhm.
I'll say this, if they go, which one you want, all we got is Pepsi. Okay, fine. I'll just say Pepsi. It's not like, I'm not gonna like go, oh no, I'm not gonna, this is it. I totally get what you're saying there. I love that connection. Thank you for it. I'm sure people are gonna go, ding, that makes so much sense. Let's go into your 3 points because I want to make sure we get to this one sock method you have here. And this is about sharing your personal stuff and how to share your personal stuff. Like, what do we mean by that? Because being safe and realizing somebody is not coming to social or coming to me and talking about all their problems. I'm like,
Mhm.
yo, I want to hear about all that. How do
I
we do that? So, what does that
So
mean?
you may recall a couple of years ago, there was this, oh, probably like 5 years ago now, there was a big push on social media to just like share some of your dirty laundry, air your dirty laundry. And I appreciated the sentiment of like, yes, bring more of your human self to it. And
Yeah.
then people were just emotionally dumping.
Yeah.
And so You don't need the whole laundry basket.
Let's talk about that. What we mean by is, when they were going through divorce, when they were going through this or that, and not saying that's not a bad thing to kind of talk to your audience about that. But I'm like, like at the time, I'm like, I'm just getting married. I don't want to talk about your divorce. No offense.
It becomes pretty clear pretty quickly when folks are using the social media without consideration and it's just a processing space versus intentional sharing.
Yeah.
And that to me is the key of the one sock method. Is in short, the very, very short version is go through your stories, go through what's happening in your personal life, assess what is private, personal, and public information, and then share according to those guidelines and boundaries that you've set in place. It uses my human first framework of excavate, clarify, prioritize, strategize. Excavate, what are all the things that you could possibly maybe want to share with your audience, whether or not, and this is important, there's a linear connection to your work, because so very often we're like, well, it doesn't directly apply, so I shouldn't talk about it, which is not true. It's okay if it's recursive, if it's boinging all over. I mean, for those that have seen The Good Place, Jeremy bear me, baby. Jeremy bear me, baby.
No, I haven't heard that, so I'm not sure what that reference is. I'm sure people do, so put it in the comments if you understand that reference. Apparently it's going to be a good reference because you immediately started laughing from it, so okay.
Highly recommend The Good Place if you haven't watched it. It is, it's great TV. Anyhow, so one sock method is a way of excavating all of your stories. What are all the things I could possibly talk about that are personal to me and that I want to bring to my business and to my social platforms? Clarify what, and that's kind of the first sorting, like, nope, that's therapy stuff. Nope, that's therapy stuff. Nope, that's therapy stuff. Or just, no, I don't really want to bring it. For example, I refer to on all social to my husband as Husburrito.
Love it. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
You'll never see him. And I mean, I post his face maybe once a year.
Yeah, you're like me. Yeah, I don't post them too much. Yeah.
Yeah. But I talk widely about neurodivergence and chronic pain because those are part of my daily life and they impact how I can exist. They impact how I conduct myself in my business. So yeah, clarify, prioritize, which I just did. This is the stuff that impacts me. And then strategize, what are the stories that really tie in to the work that I do, the launch that I'm in, the things that is currently happening in our ever volatile world.
Yeah.
So in very broad strokes, that is the one sock method. You do not need to dump all your dirty laundry. You don't need to share all your dirty laundry. You just need one sock.
I love it. I love that, but also I love the fact that it's giving us more ideas of how to show up gee, I can't say the word. Authentically. There it is. I'm trying to say authentically in the space that we're given, the social media space, because we talked about, themes of creating social media content. How do we stay true to ourselves? And this could definitely be an exercise that we do in developing our content. What is something that is on the table? Heck yeah, I'm going to put it because it's a part of me. And what's off the table? Just like you, my husband, for the most part, is off the table. Like, I'm not talking about stuff is happening between me and him or stuff happening with him or his family at all. And a lot of people do include their family very heavily. And that's totally cool because it brings another side. We're not all meant to be the same, right? But for me, a long time, and I think this goes into something that you're going to talk about a little bit later in evolving. I started to talk about my experience as a nurse. At first I was like, nobody cares. Nobody cares I do that. That was my thing for the longest time. But I thought, that's my personal business. That's, it's something within me. That's not, everybody just cares about events, because that's what I do, virtual events. So everybody cares about that and that side. And then I remember I told a couple stories to my team that does social media. And she was like, can you give me some more? Like, what are some more stories? Tell me some more. What is some of this? What is this? Can you get me more pictures? Like, can we get pictures in your outfit? I'm like, for what? Like, who cares? Like, I was like, again, who cares? But those stories do impact. And I was like, well, I guess I could share that. I didn't think anybody cared. I think that's the bigger thing. And some people think they have a hard time coming up with what to give and what to put out there because they're like, nobody really cares.
And that's the thing that so many of us get stuck on, that I think is so like one of the most powerful things you have in your marketing arsenal, that you already have. It came with the package, is your personal stories. And I want to emphasize your ordinary, heavy air quotes, personal stories.
Yeah.
Because the things that seem the most ordinary to us on the inside, because we've lived them, it is beyond mundane. One, we all love a little bit of like mundane stories.
Just a little bit.
Instagram started because people were sharing pictures, like share pictures of your food.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
I mean, we all have to eat every day. It is mundane and monotonous. And yet I would listen at length, Nicole, if you told me about your breakfast. Because odds are
like,
you're not just going to tell me like, well, I ate some toast with an egg on top because I was kind of feeling really sluggish and I didn't want to go to a lot of work. So it's really easy to just throw some toast in the toaster. But I did fry the perfect egg. Oh my God, let me talk to you about my egg.
People will listen to that, which I was like, really? Like, why?
It's both fascinating because we're all a little voyeuristic. Tell me about your life. I want to have an eye in your life.
Okay, there you go. That you just hit that. That's what it was. I think you just hit it right there. We're all just a little bit voyeuristic and kind of want to know what other people are doing secretly, or maybe not so secretly.
And it's also a point of connection. You go nuts over a fried egg. I have a deep and abiding love of the perfect fried egg.
Yes.
Because it's so hard to get that crispy on the bottom, but the yolk is still so perfectly runny and silky and smooth. Anyhow, I do really love fried eggs.
Well, it wasn't a fried egg. They got my order wrong, so I can't tell you it was a fried egg on there. But anyway, they got my order wrong. I normally do an egg and bacon on biscuit. I don't do cheese. They always put cheese on those on it. I do not do cheese. So today they gave me a cheese and bacon. And I was like, what is the point of this biscuit not having an egg? There's no point. So anyway, so I'm scraping the cheese off. Like, I don't want that. But anyway, no hate from people who love cheese, please. Okay, let's go into the next point because I want to make sure that we get all of them. So building an offer rooted in your values and your strengths is something that you really believe in. Tell us more about that.
Again, human first, biz second. If your offers aren't rooted in the things that you believe in with your whole being, Hamilton fans out there, if you stand for nothing, what do you fall for? Yeah.
Yes, girl. Come on now. Do not quote me, no Hamilton. You started something. I love it.
But it is iconic for a number of reasons, but truly, if you running your own business is so much work. We all know this.
Yes.
So if your offer isn't built on what you believe in most, what you want to stand up and shout and talk about for hours, why are you going through all of the work? And this is where I see so many folks struggle, is they are swayed by the industry standards and the industry norms of what if you are insert title, you're supposed to offer insert offer.
Insert offer, yes. And the offer should have the following things in it, because I'm looking at, Joe Schmo or Susie Q that is offering these things, and this is what everybody would expect of me. I totally get that.
And this is the value stack and the deliverables that everyone wants. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Because there's so many, the beauty is there's so many online businesses that you're not the only one doing the thing. Yes. I'm not the only one doing the thing. There are hundreds of me. But it's my blend of my strengths, my skills, my values, and my boundaries that bring my people to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something, again, themes that have run throughout this whole entire show. It's something about you and your personality and what it is you, I mean, come on, you just did a Hamilton reference, you instantly attract me. You know what I mean? You say hashtag cope, I like this girl. What's going on? Like, so it's a uniqueness about you and what it is you do, and not trying to at all copy anybody else. So I definitely get that. And especially values when it relates to, just like you said, your value is human first, biz second. So if that is your value and you show that in every step of your thing, meaning like, okay, for instance, sending a DM that's actually some kind of connection, not like, hey,
Yes.
what about hey, you know what I mean? Or you're showing up in the sense of, your I know your emails really truly are getting to the heart and providing information, and getting to be genuine emails that people are like, I like to hear what from her. Yeah.
This is the perfect example of this. So one of my personal values for within my business and personally is candor, which is an ease of
Mm.
communication, a humor, an honesty, a truthfulness, a trust, and last week I sent out an email that I had been dragging my feet on. It was entitled "An Imperfect Announcement and Lots of Feelings."
Yeah.
And I mean, I basically opened with like, I am not doing, I'm writing this email in the editor, which is exactly the opposite of what I've taught all of you who've read these emails for months,
Yeah.
because I'm tired. And then I just talked about like, these are the ways I feel beaten down
Mm.
by our current state of health.
Yeah.
And emphasizing like, if this is you, you are, I just want to emphasize you're not alone. And then I led into like, I have this big thing, I have a big workshop coming up at the end of the month that I've been dragging my feet on talking about because I don't have the graphics, I don't have the link set up yet,
Mm.
here are all the things I don't have, but that shouldn't stop me from telling you about the thing. So
Mhm.
here's all the information, pencil it into your calendars, because I definitely need, even if it's something I want to do, I need weeks to emotionally prep for it, because
Right.
doing things is a lot right now. So, and I got, that is the most responded to email I've sent in over a year, of folks coming in with like, oh my God, thank you. I've been struggling with X, Y, and Z, or, oh, I'm so glad that you sent it. I don't need a fancy graphic. I just know that I want to show up. It,
Yes.
and it's that candor. It is that value that is not only making it clear, like, this is who I am. And I definitely got a large handful of unsubscribes, which frankly, like, great. This
That's
is what I'm
great.
about. Like, you
Yep.
will find a home elsewhere. It's not a good riddance. You will find someone who will better serve you. Please do.
Yes. Yes.
And this
I
is what
totally
we do here.
And well, I love the fact that you said you got a lot of unsubscribes there, because when we open up ourselves, we're afraid of those unsubscribes. Like, people won't like me. But remember, brand fam, that's what we are working for. We're working for people who want to be a part of that. And even if I only have 10 people a part of the brand fam, that's okay. I don't need thousands in my business. Never. Again, I can't, how do you know 1,000,000,000 people? How do you actually know them? How do you know 1,000,000 people? How do you know them? You don't. And if you lead with that human first, definitely. I totally get it. Yay. Okay, I'm excited. Let's go to the next one. So create and evolve your brand voice. And we talked about this just a little bit, how to develop. But I got a question here for you. Um as you're, especially the evolving part of it, because I created it, and now I'm
Mhm.
like, it's changing. It's changing to me talking about nursing. It's changing to me talking about coaching, because a lot of people are used to just me hear about talk about virtual events. I'm not a coach, but I'm talking to coaches now. So people are like, I'm confused. Is she is that the same thing? Are we talking about the same thing right now when I say, like, I'm talking about some things a little bit differently? What do you mean? I just asked 10 questions. How do you evolve your brand voice for people to get it? I guess is the question.
Well, I think you touched on perhaps one of the most important things is recognizing the change, recognizing when things feel a little squidgy. They're not wrong, but
Squidgy, I
they're
like
not
that word.
right. It's a good word for that place where it's like, this isn't wrong, but it's not right.
Yeah.
It
I'm
doesn't
not
feel
there yet.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I admit I'm not there yet exactly with the voices going to, but it's changing. But how do I make
Yeah.
it not so squiggy? Is that what you said?
Squidgy. Uh,
Squidgy.
the the really unsatisfactory answer is you just have to go through it.
Ugh.
And that is the easy hard answer of like you can get stuck in the squidgy place, in the it's not wrong but it's not right place, and just stay there. And that's when we start getting the bland milk toast buzzwords of like, I am so authentic, I empower other women. That
Yeah.
tells me nothing.
Nothing. Yep, that's
And
true.
that's where folks, and those are the things that folks get to when they're stuck in the squidgy place.
Mhm.
The evolution part of it truly is digging back into your values. What's the same? What's changed? What's shifted? How you're applying them? How have and that's really a lot of times where things are getting squidgy. How many times can I use that word in this podcast?
Well, since I've never heard of it and cannot spell it, it's and I'm interested to know what our what are you talking about? The word transcript people will make. How do you spell squidgy according to the transcript? I think
In
that'll be
my head,
entertaining.
I spell it Squidgy.
Oh, see, I was just gonna take off the D. Just yeah. See, random stuff we talk about, but but the evolution, you're saying stay in that place. Start
Yes.
getting clear on what the values are, getting
Hmm.
clear of the mission of the actual brand, getting clear of those things in that squidgy place. So
Hmm.
when you get to it or you finally evolve and your voice starts sounding the way you want, it'll make sense.
Exactly. The more you can root yourself in your values and really root yourself in your strengths. I know these are the things that I am amazing at, that are the secret sauce superpower of Megan. The more I can remember that and root myself in that, the more that evolution one is going to be a little bit, I want to say painless, less painful, because it's always, I mean, change is always hard.
Yeah, it's a little bit painful. At least
It
right
is.
now. People are like, "What is
Yeah.
she talking about now?" Like, I don't want and that was something that, we've had themes on this again, this show where we talked about getting clear on messaging, how to get clear, but we don't always talk about that time in between before like I'm here and then I'm clear. It's like it's a squidgy place according to Megan.
There's like that, and some people go through it real quick. And
Right.
sometimes they go through it real quick because they have teams, or it just suddenly clicked, or they have the time and resources to spend a week going off to one of the getaway cabins in the woods
Yes,
with just them and their
retreats.
notebook. And I mean, or maybe it takes you
You're
a
funny.
year because during the pandemic you panicked, and the only way you could create some kind of control in your life was to create 12 different offers.
Yes. It's
I mean,
okay. First off, I want people to know that's okay because, I get it. Things definitely changed for a lot of people and they start losing business and it became a scary time. So they
yeah,
evolved and became very squidgy and still are kind of trying to recover right now.
yeah.
But just like Megan said, you're gonna come to a point where you are clear, but getting clear on your values and mission and your who you are and that one sock method, getting clear on those things in the meantime, I think are super important. I love that in the meantime. This is what to do in the meantime before you get to that super branded message perfectness.
Well, and can we take a moment to just like, everyone has an in the meantime, but no one talks about it because it's
No.
messy as hell. It doesn't look good. It's hard to try to encapsulate the entirety of the mess on social media. So we just kind of like bypass it.
We do. It's like, oh, it didn't really happen. Now you're clear and you're perfect and that's just not reality, I don't think.
No. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know anyone who's gone through the squidgy time. This isn't hashtag squidgy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you
I
is
don't
that a word you've actually used in life or you just came
I
up with
mean,
that 10 seconds ago?
no, it's a word I use. I don't think it's a real
Okay.
word, but it's a word I
No, it's
use.
not, but guaranteed is not a real word, but I just was like, "Is that a word that you use?" It's like a slang thing, I'm not sure, but that I love it. It makes sense. When she said it, I was like, "Oh, that's exactly how it feels in this moment."
That's my acting training coming in. I was a classical actor by training, so like Shakespearean, Restoration, digging into language and like what does language mean and how does the word feel in your mouth when you say it and how does it sound and
How
like
does it feel in your mouth? Whoa. You're getting down into the acting training now. I can tell. I'm like, what is she talking about? So, okay, let's wrap up this segment because I want to make sure that we get onto all the other stuff that we have for you. But is there anything else you want to kind of wrap it up with, and how it is that we need to be working in this human first, biz second model?
One, dig into your values. Don't know your values? There are a plethora of resources on the internet. I certainly have some, like, there are tons of. Dig into, have your Hamilton moment. What is it you will stand for? And perhaps most importantly, what are you willing to fail for?
What does
Because you
it fall
believe
for?
Well, it's fall for in the lyrics, but like it is.
I was like, wait, that ain't the lyric.
No, it's not the lyrics. I'm going off book now.
Oh, okay.
But really, like, it's not just what will you stand for, but what am I willing to make a fool of myself for? What are the things that I feel so strongly about that even if I fail on the way many times, even if I keep tripping, because nobody's growth is linear. We're all going like this.
Yeah. So if you're listening, she's just pretty much zigzagging all over the screen. So she's not talking like up, down. She's just talking, going back and forth like a zigzag is pretty much what it is.
Which is, I mean, so many of us that run our own businesses, that is the growth trajectory. It's kind of all over the place because life is messy, because running a business is messy, because the world is falling apart around us. And so really asking yourself, what is the stuff? And for me, that's human first, biz second. Yeah. I've been on the human first, biz second soapbox for 3 or 4 years now, and only in the past like year and a half has it started becoming a heavy air quotes thing. It's not like I'm internet famous or anything, but like folks identify it and they'll even like tag me in posts of like, ooh, this person's really got a good human first, biz second philosophy. Yes.
It's like,
yes, because that's the shit I'm gonna hang my hat on. That is the stuff that I will continue to fail and make a fool of myself for because it is so important to me.
Oh man. Okay. We have got to go to the next segment. I'm telling you, because we could spend all day on that. Like, I really love Megan with this. So let's go to the next segment. It's all about our guest's best business advice for online coaches after this brief break. Okay, so this segment is all about living your best online business life. And we ask our guests exactly what type of advice would you give our listeners? So the question I have for you, Megan, is what is your best advice?
My best advice is to give yourself the time to make an entire job history. Like back to I was a babysitter for 6 years for this one family when I was in middle school and high school. Like truly go all the way back.
Okay.
And then start looking at what are some of the connections between the work that you loved, whether or not it makes sense for the work that you're currently doing. And that, if you're struggling with the human first, biz second, what is it I like to do? That's going to clue you into like, okay, this is a theme throughout everything I do. And once you start connecting those dots, the more you can lean into not just like, this is who I am as a person. Here's my Enneagram. Here's my Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
But it informs your one sock. It informs your offers. It informs so much. So truly, if you're struggling, my best advice is give yourself the time to do a full job history, job edit and skills audit. This is the stuff that I'm good at. This is the stuff that I've done. This is the stuff that I like. You will find, and whether or not you can then directly apply it as like, oh, well, this makes sense for the new offer. Or like, I have no idea how all these connect, but I know that they do because they're a part of me.
That's so good. I really like that because I've never even thought about that. I mean, I don't think I was I was like a camp counselor. What I like about that, I mean, I didn't like kids. I didn't like other people's kids. I can tell you that. But, it is what it is. But I did love teaching. I did like being in front of a classroom. Granted, not the age. Now, I have my master's, so I can teach in front of a nursing classroom. But then I can't stand little children, but 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 that is a direct correlation is I like teaching. And that's something I did a long time ago that I never would have made a connection with now and what I'm doing now. So I do like that exercise and how it could strengthen your core offers now. What do I like to do? I like to teach. Go back to teaching. In other words.
It's a great way to edit too. It'll help you identify like, oh, that's a lot of extraneous stuff that I put in there because I thought I had to in order to sell it, in order to stand out in my market, in order to whatever.
Yeah.
I had my own existential crisis late last year, because who hasn't?
Yeah.
Where I was chatting with a friend about some of my offers, and she was like, what you do, you're very good at. The struggle I'm seeing you in is that you're not trusting that you're actually good at it. So you're adding all of this extra stuff that nobody cares about. And it's confusing
and if you don't care about it and it's confusing you, then the people will be like, what's that about? Yeah.
Exactly. And it was a real come to Jesus moment of like, oh no, my therapy. And this is the thing, our therapy problems always sneak in. This is advice part 2. Can I give advice part 2?
Yes, go do it.
Advice part 2, your therapy problems are always going to sneak into your business and convince you that they're business problems, and thus you can solve them and thus get a handle on them. And like, it's not a therapy problem. The minute you can identify those therapy problems and go, I see you, you have snuck in. This is not a business problem. This is a therapy problem. And for me, that was like,
yeah.
Oh no, I'm not feeling worthiness. That is absolutely not a business problem. It's impacting my business, but it's not something my business can solve. It's not something a coach can solve. It's not something that I can get by joining another membership or buying another template or.
Oh, Megan, you're hitting some things. Hold on. You're hitting some things. I'm telling you, that is so good. And what you're telling me that I should do, Megan, just talk to me. You think what I should do is go to a therapist with it. Is that what you're telling me to do?
Yeah. I mean, who among us hasn't bought another, excuse me, template because like, this is what I desperately need. It probably isn't.
It probably isn't. Oh my goodness, you are bringing some full circle moments right here. No. Okay. Don't talk anymore, Megan.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, that's really good. That is so good. Quote that. Like, that is so good. We need to stop buying these business things to fulfill or fill a hole that, personally, therapy wise, what do you call that part of your therapy wise? Your therapy business or whatever? Therapy
my therapy
side?
problems.
My therapy problems have to be solved by, therapy.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay. Just let that digest, y'all. I don't even want to take that pause out of the show because that is a pretty big aha moment for a lot of people, especially those who are really considering what self-care, self-trust, self-love is and how that relates to business and separating the therapy part of it and recognize this is therapy. This is something I need to deal with, but not deal with it in the business side, not buying another thing, not filling it in some way, creating another offer that feels like, oh, I need to be needed or I need more clients. So let me create another offer, a feeling of wanting to have more. Oh, love it, Megan. Let me shut up on that one because we will go all day on that. Okay, so next segment, we have Let's Connect. This is a segment where we're connecting our guests and their audience. That's you. And we ask our guests, who is it that you want to be connected with? Who do you want to talk to in our audience and really get to know? And we ask the same to Megan. Who would you like to pull into your inner circle? Who would you like to get to know in our audience?
I non-business related, I love investigative journalism podcasts. So if you have a fave investigative journalism podcast, please tag me, please email me, please at me, please DM me. I need all the podcasts. They are how I get through the day. Which actually leads quite nicely into another point of connection that I love. I'm neurodivergent. That means that I am not neurotypical. It means that my brain works a little bit differently. For me, that I have clinical depression, anxiety, PTSD, and was recently, though not surprisingly, diagnosed with ADHD. So if you identify or find your, or even if you don't identify necessarily as neurodivergent, but you're like, I always think a little bit differently. I always feel like I'm asking too many questions, or I'm asking the wrong question, or I want to get to know you. I want to connect more and more neurodivergent business owners, because there are so many of us.
Yeah.
Because owning your own business allows for the expression of all of these different perspectives and different approaches that we have. Um, but sometimes we don't share it as openly, and I want to get to know those people.
Yeah. You know what? As you were talking, I was like, how many neurodivergent business owners do I know? And that may be because they haven't done the SOC method. They're the one SOC method. They haven't recognized that they can share that. Or if they decide to, not share that, that's perfectly fine too. But they didn't know it was a possibility. Like, just like me with nursing, I was like, you really want to know anything about that? But feeling, I don't know, maybe we give you permission now to to say that
Yes,
you are
please.
neurodivergent, and to say, yes, that's me, identify as that. Megan, I would love to talk to you about this,
Please.
and working in the business with this. How do I do this? And can I talk about it? The answer is yes. Here it is. Go in the comments. Let's talk about it and what that means. Because I really feel like a lot of kind of the typical business marketing really hasn't talked about it at all.
Not
And
a lot.
no, not at all. So it's interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this. And your one sock method, like, hey, this could be a part of you. You can talk about this and feel free, not shamed to talk about it or anything. And we want to know about it. So yeah.
By and large, if you're thinking to yourself, do people really want to know this? The answer is probably yes.
Yeah. This is yes, they do want to know it. Yeah, yeah.
Default
So
is yes.
the default is yes. So if that's you, get in the comments. We would love to, hey, I want to know some podcasts and documentaries that are non-business related. And if you are a host of one, we would love for you to put that information in the comments to tell us about your podcast that's non-business related. We
The
need
biz
those
podcasts are
things.
great, but I
They're
want the
great,
non-biz
but we
ones.
want non just for entertainment sometimes. And then if you're a neurodivergent small business owner who want to share your experiences and want to connect with Megan, we would love to make that connection. So go ahead and get in the comments. Okay, let us know who fits, that sort of thing. So Megan, tell us where we can find you, because we obviously want to follow you some more, because you love Coke and you love Hamilton and and you're so cute and you say stuff like squidgy, and we want to know more about you.
If nothing else, I'm charming. You can find me at withmegandowd.com, and my handle on all socials is at withmegandowd, WITHMEGANDOWD. And for those not on video, I just spelled it all out, writing with my finger on the
Writing
screen.
with their finger. Yes, she did do that. And, sometimes we forget to say, but it's okay that you did a little squiggly. That's perfectly fine. So thank you so much for being a part of the show. I personally had a couple revelations there. I was like, ooh, child, that's a therapy thing. That ain't something I need to use a business thing. Ooh, okay, let's work on that. And also, you gave us a really great insight of the between the branding, right? So as you're in the moment of evolving and getting to the brand voice that you want, these are the steps that you need to be taking and what you need to be thinking about on that way. So thank you so much for giving that to us and just being a little lights with her squidgy self. I don't even know if squidgy is the word to describe you, but it's such a cute word. I will use it. It was so cool.
Thank you so much for having me, Nicole. This conversation was so much fun. I love talking about business, and I love talking about human-based business. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. So I'd like to thank our guest today, Megan Dowd, for just giving A, new words, B, just giving us space to just have fun today. And also to really think about like, hey, the whole part with the is this, a therapy thing? I'm like, yo, okay, she's talking too much about that. We need to cut that off now. But I know it's going to be helpful to a lot of you. So thank you so much, Megan, for bringing that out. If you're just as awesome and squiggy or squidgy, that's what you said, as Megan, then go to fempreneuronline.com/guest to apply to be a guest. And at the end of every show, we always say, who's next? Cut. All righty. So we bring Megan back on. So we are after the show, just so you know, we're still live. We're going to get the wrap up because there's things we have to get on video to make sure that we are on the thing. So if you go to the private chat, Megan, you have the first 3 phrases. I'm going to remove myself from the screen. And what I'm going to do is mute myself. So you'll just see me obviously go away. And hold on, let me take this off first. And then what you're going to do is you're going to read each of those statements. Leave a little bit of a pause in between so I can edit fairly easily. And then try your best to look in the camera. If you can't, that's okay. But try your best. And if you don't say hey, say whatever it is you say. Okay, because not everybody says hey. You're West Coast, you ain't East Coast. We're like, hey, y'all. Well, I'm Virginia, so sometimes East Coast think they're just New York, but East Coast is Virginia too.
I'm originally from Minnesota, and I spent a decent chunk of time in Ohio. So I've always said hey, and y'all has become a very strong part of my colloquialisms.
So I'm almost kind of like, I'm sure the West is like, what does y'all mean? Like, what is that about? But it's a thing.
It's stuck. It's 3 years in Ohio, and it's deep in there now. But it's, I mean, it's
Ohioans say y'all. Oh, I didn't realize Ohioans. That's north, right?
Oh, I mean, Ohio, where I was in Ohio was technically like northern, or I was in the southwestern corner of Ohio, which is like, it's the Midwest. That part of Ohio thinks they're part of the Deep South.
Wait, Ohio's like,
yeah, it doesn't make sense. Don't think about it geographically, but culturally.
But I don't think y'all are in the South. But okay, whatever.
They're not.
That's awesome. It's just a
weird.
thing.
It's a thing. Go to Cincinnati. You'll understand.
Okay, I guess I will. Okay, I'm going to remove myself, mute myself, and you just go ahead and just say, if you mess it up, just start it back from the beginning, okay?
Great.
All right.
Hey, I'm Megan Dowd, and you're listening to the there it is. Hey, I'm Megan Dowd, and you're listening to the Fempreneur Coach Connection. Hey, I'm Megan Dowd, and you're watching the Fempreneur Coach Connection. Hey, I'm Megan Dowd, and we're talking about honoring the human behind the biz and the humans in the audience alike, only on the Fempreneur Coach Connection.
Yay, that sounded great. Okay, I'm going to end the live broadcast. Thanks, guys, for watching live.